every generation. 2 Prose Bros are born. Chosen to watch every episode of Buffy and tell you what they think about them. This is the Prose Bros visit Sunnydale, bitches.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Prose Bros visit Sunnydale. I am Jeff.
And I am Eddie Cruz.
And today we are doing episode 19 of season 2, I Only Have Eyes for You.
I do only have eyes for you.
It's a song.
Uh-huh.
An old song.
It's an old song.
Do you like that song?
Yeah, I guess. It's one of those ones that was kind of played out by everything. You know, it's a good song, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do up. I like that part. Do up. There's one guy who just says that the whole fucking song.
I want to be that dude.
Yeah, it's just like that Andy Kaufman skit.
Yeah. So what did you think of the episode?
It was a good episode. It was definitely a good one-off. Definitely a good Monster of the Week. I enjoyed it. It didn't really have a great place in the plot progression of season 2, but it wasn't as bad as Killed by Death, so God bless America.
Yeah, I was going to ask you 2 questions. Is it good just because the last one was so bad?
Maybe. It's like when a really shitty band goes on after another worse shitty band. Like you go see, let's say, Kid Rock and Taproot opens for him. And you're like, wow.
Wait, so which is the bad one?
Kid Rock is bad, but Taproot is awful. So you're like, oh, Taproot's so awful. And then Kid Rock goes on and you're like, oh, thank God Taproot's gone.
I liked the music analogy, but those are just so awful. I would say it's like when there's a headliner and they're all, oh, we don't want to play last. And they make one of the local bands play after them. And if you're that local band, you get to see everybody leave because they just saw the band they wanted to see.
Yeah, I've been one of those people that leaves.
So another question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the first time in Buffy we have seen a ghost or poltergeist episode?
Yes, I do believe so.
I was going to say there was one in season 1, but it was the Invisible Girl.
No, the Invisible Girl is not technically.
So ghost. Okay, there's ghosts now.
Yeah.
There we go.
Absolutely.
So, Eddie, what was this episode about?
This episode was about ghosts.
Okay. All right, see you next time, guys.
All right, guys.
We ran out of bandwidth.
Oh, I hope that all stays in. So this episode starts at the Bronze. Surprise, surprise. Another episode starts at the Bronze, right?
Yeah.
Buffy is on the balcony watching a super emo shoegazy band, and everybody's dressed really weird.
But like kind of a bad one.
Yeah.
And they're all
obviously
slow dancing.
Yeah,
so
they're all slow dancing. So she's watching people slow dance while she drinks a Diet Coke.
It's essentially like, I got the impression, it's like, oh, I wish I could be there with Angel.
Yeah,
right?
The whole thing of like, look at these people.
They're happy. I'm not.
And I'm not. So a genuinely ugly guy, a pretty ugly guy comes up to her.
I would say he's not attractive.
Like, I get wet for a lot of the guys on this show. I did not get wet for this guy.
I would say you would be the expert at it, both of us.
Right? I definitely know which guys are chiseled and which guys are flubby. This guy's flubby.
Really? You could tell that?
Yeah, I can tell it through the shirt. Through that awful purple and gold shirt.
Yeah, he had a terrible dated outfit, so much that I thought he was a vampire.
Yeah, you even said that. So he comes up to her and is like, hey, I'm in your Miss Jackson second period. And she's like, I don't remember you because you're really ugly. And then, no, she didn't say that. She's not as mean as I'm being. No. I'm being really mean to this guy. I'm really, yeah. Anyway, so this fugly guy's all like, you want to go to the dance with me, Buffy? And she's like, no, I don't. And this bring up something you were saying about approachability?
Yeah, so I didn't want to put it quite that way, but clearly Buffy is out of his league. And I think that Buffy, we've seen a lot of students at this school. She is one of the most attractive women, girls, I guess they're girls, right? Mm-hmm. They're 17, at Sunnydale. Why would this random dude think that he can just go up to one of the most attractive girls and ask her out, or at least ask her to have her ask him? Right?
So I'm listening to this awesome podcast called Startup about different startups, and there's one about a dating website and how they rate people is between like looks and money and success and stuff like that, but they rate everybody and give everybody a number. And once they give somebody a number, they never date them with somebody more than one up or one down from their number. And I think that we should do that with everybody. So he's obviously like a 4, and Buffy's probably more like an 8.
But, and this is part of my theory, does he think that she can be approachable because she's not like Cordelia, or maybe he thinks this girl might be a little batshit crazy and she's a loner, so while she's attractive, she's got some issues. Yeah. So maybe that could put us in the same league.
Or he thinks in that bullshit reason of like, oh, pretty girls never get asked, so they'll definitely say yes. Like, fucking, because they never get asked, they're like, standards drop down or something.
I wish I had that mentality back in the day. I was like,
know,
no,
I didn't
of course
have it.
not.
Of course not, dude. And we didn't have any girls around.
Plus,
well, I didn't.
Plus, why would I go up to some girl just to get rejected?
Yeah, seriously, right?
I don't want to be that guy. That sucks.
Not to mention, back then, there's really nothing to do. It's like, hey, you want to hang out and play Sega Genesis with me? Or I guess not. At that point, Nintendo 64?
What do you think that guy did afterwards? Was he all pissed? He was like, God damn it, fucking Buffy.
Of course he went home and furiously masturbated, dude. He's 16.
Okay.
Just like fucking left a rash on his dick. So he cut down from the balcony, and Willow's wearing an atrocious sweater. Just like
towel sweater, right?
Towel sweater.
That was like the towel fabric.
Yeah, absolutely. Like a towel fashioned into a sweater.
Can I tell you, I had like 2 of those because I thought they were cool. That just
really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, did they have those pockets for your hands?
No, they didn't. It felt really soft.
Oh man, those sweaters make dick soft. Not that you matter, not that you'd care about that.
I do matter, and I don't care.
So she talks with Buffy, and Buffy's like, wah, 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 and Willow's like, you're just mad because Angel, and you know, it's going to take some time.
Willow's a lot more sensitive about it. She basically says, well, trying to nudge her to move on, and love doesn't always end poorly.
Mm-hmm. Cut to love ending in the worst way it can. They go to the school, and you see a couple arguing, and a guy basically going crazy about his lover, and then pulls out a gun, and Buffy saves the girl's life by kicking the gun out of his hand. I don't know how she got from the bronze to the school so quickly.
Yeah, they don't really have another scene. Normally, I think you would see an outside shot of the school to establish they're at the school, mm-hmm. and then an interior shot of what's going on. But they just went from the bronze to the school. I was like, what the fuck happened there?
And then Buffy just teleported and saved this girl's life.
Which I loved the argument. It felt real, and it felt like a high school couple.
Yeah.
And then I remembered it's not supposed to be a traditional high school couple.
Yeah. So after Buffy saves the girl, the guy drops the gun, and the gun disappears. The janitor doesn't really remember seeing a gun, so nothing happens to this, and Buffy ends up in Snyder's office.
Because it's her fault.
Yeah. And God bless Snyder being back.
Yeah.
Oh man, that little rant that he did at the very beginning is just awesome, where he's just like, oh, I need to figure out how this is your fault. Like, that was so great. Having him back is awesome. Where has he been?
We've missed him.
Yeah, if they had a whole episode of him instead of Killed by Death, I would have been very happy.
They should have done a Snyder spinoff instead of Angel.
Absolutely. Snyder, where it's just like Mr. Belding, but it's him and the Scoobies forever, just like Saved by the Bell. He also kind of goes crazy on a vegan. Like, he just mentions this kid that's a vegan that's like
For chaining himself to some vending machine, right?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. So he takes off. Buffy's in trouble again. Good on her. And they cut to Willow still teaching Miss Calendar's class because the school, because while Snyder's bitching about a vegan kid, he hasn't hired a new teacher for the teacher that died.
I'm going to play devil's advocate for this one, too.
Okay.
Maybe it's just he realizes that she's teaching that and he doesn't want... He's budget-oriented and he doesn't want to hire another teacher because he has to pay them.
And she's so good at it.
All the students are laughing and having a blast, man.
They're all like just joking about her being a teacher.
She seems like a better teacher than Jenny Calendar.
Absolutely. Jenny Calendar was like, no fucks given. Like, hey, I'm going to be like super late. Do you want to just teach the class while I'm smoking pot in my car?
She basically was hanging out with Giles most of the time anyway.
Yeah, just really, really trying hard to give Giles the bone. So Giles comes in and he's like super bummed and he's like, and he's like, she's like, here's some stuff that Jenny left, and he grabs a necklace and just starts rubbing it on his crotch. He didn't do that.
Yeah, it's like a little crystal necklace.
Yeah, he takes the necklace and he gets really super bummed. Essentially, Willow is looking through all the things and you're kind of like hoping that she finds the disc, right?
Yeah.
Like the disc fell in between the desk and the old dot matrix printer, and you're hoping that Willow finds it so they can get the translation of the cheat code to bring Angel back.
The cheat code.
Yeah, the cheat code, the
up,
Konami
up,
code.
Down, left, right, AB.
Select
Angel
start.
soul back.
AB select start. So she doesn't find that disc, and she does find this necklace and gives it to Giles, and he's super bummed still.
You know, at the time, and maybe even now, I could probably care less about Angel getting his soul back. I was like, I like him evil.
I liked him evil too, but there is that like want for Buffy to be happy.
Well, I wanted her back in the day when I saw this. I wanted her to kill him to be happy, and now I just want Angel to stay evil and smirky forever.
Yeah, me too. It's one of those things where it's like watching South Park and realizing that Cartman's your favorite character.
You are Cartman?
Yeah. So, cut to Buffy in a classroom after this, and she has a flashback about a teacher who is fucking one of her students.
Essentially.
Yeah, at least the beginnings of it, right? She keeps him after class, they talk about a book, and she's like, ooh, you're so old for your age, or whatever.
Yeah, and he gently caresses her hand, so you're like, oh, there's something funny going on here.
Funny going on here, not to mention both of them are like 43.
They
picked some old people.
The teacher clearly looked a lot older than he did. He definitely didn't look like he was 17.
No.
But it wasn't like some of the current teachers in Sunnydale right now, or at least Jenny Calendar looks about the same age as Cordelia, so...
So she has that crazy thing and then goes up to Xander and says like, hey, I just had a dream about ghosts. And he's like, ghosts? And he opens up his locker and gets attacked by an arm that comes out of his locker and just starts pulling him into the locker, hitting him.
Which, why?
I think it was to establish quickly that weird shit's going on. It's kind of one of those things where it's all like, okay, well, we got to reinforce this and make everybody get on board really quickly so we can move along the plot kind of thing, I think. One thing that I did write down, though, is this ghost has been around since the beginning of the series. Where's it been? Why the fuck is it just coming out now?
I was thinking that it came around every single time they had this dance, right?
Oh, okay.
So it should come yearly, but maybe they just, I don't know, didn't notice.
Buffy wasn't there last time? Or like every single year there's a murder-suicide in the school and nobody's ever cared to investigate further?
It would have made a lot more sense if they made it like the 50th anniversary or something like that.
Yeah.
And they could have, because they were very specific at putting it in 1955. Well, this episode came out either in, 98, 99, and it would have been very easy just to move that date up, to have a nice round number, and to give a little backstory. Very simple. They didn't do that.
Yeah, I agree. I think at that point, that was probably the least of their work. I don't know. So they run to Giles, and they're like, oh, Xander got attacked. I had this thing, and he's like, he just gets a gigantic, hard erection about there being a poltergeist.
Yeah, he's now he's back to old Giles, getting excited about new problems.
He doesn't care about trying to get laid anymore. Jenny Calendar's unfortunately dead, so he can't get laid. And now he cares about ghosts again.
Yeah, being a watcher. I think this is him trying to bury himself in work.
Yeah.
Just maybe done a little bit poorly. Or quickly.
Yeah.
Quickly. I'll say quickly.
Yeah, but it makes sense.
Totally.
I mean, like you said, he wouldn't want to be back at his house amongst the blood stain of Jenny Calendar. I hope he cleaned his bed, right? Got a new mattress. Got up on the Casper.com.
You had a good point. He still lives at the same place.
Yeah, he never moved out.
Why didn't he move?
I don't know. Why don't people move more? It's not like... Never mind.
My ex died or was placed dead in my bedroom. I'm just going to stay here. Rent's really good.
Yeah, I think I've moved out of a place just because I had bad memories about a normal breakup.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable, right?
Yeah, I don't know. So you cut to the janitor cleaning the hallway, and one of the teachers leaving, and as she's leaving, she goes by him and is like, "Excuse me," and he's like, "Oh, go ahead, have a great night," and then he drops his mop and goes, "Hey, where do you think you're going? You can't escape my love," and they reenact the scene from the beginning again, except for at the end of this, he actually shoots her, and she falls off the balcony doing like 2 flips and landing on the floor, and Giles is in the other room, comes out, hears the craziness, and stops the guy from shooting himself in the head.
And this seems a lot stranger, too. The conversation between the janitor and the teacher was a little bit awkward, and I think almost condescending.
Yeah.
When she's like, "Oh, bye, so-and-so. Oh, that's your name, right, so-and-so?" I go, "Fuck you, lady. Get the fuck out of here."
He's like, "I'm going to be on Deadwood. What are you going to do?"
Yeah.
This is the salesman from Deadwood, right?
Yeah.
The Jewish salesman.
Uh-huh. And also, he plays on Eastbound and Down, Kenny Powers' brother.
Oh, hell yeah.
He's done a lot of stuff. A lot of small bit parts.
Yeah, but he does them great. He did a great job in this one. We were saying, like, that was really well acted.
Yeah?
Yeah. Maybe they picked the wrong Xander. No,
Yeah, I thought that scene... It's just weird, them arguing. I don't know if it was like the chemistry between these two random actors, but I felt it's strange.
It was very strange. It was also strange, like the juxtaposition of like an older teacher and a janitor dressed up in those roles, acting like they're in the 50s.
It would have been better if it would have been Dave Chappelle from Half Baked as the janitor in the scene. So
the gun disappears again, but this lady fell off the balcony, so there's nothing more to talk about there. Angel, we cut to Angel and Spike, and Angel is doing everything in his power to just cuckold Spike. Just make him feel like a total bitch. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's essentially just Drusilla's flailing around like she's on acid in like Woodstock or something like that, talking about Buffy dealing with the ghost, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And he's behind her, I guess, just caressing her in front of Spike, who's in the wheelchair, which is just...
I feel, even though Spike is evil, you feel awful for him at this point. Angel's evil too, but he's such a son of a bitch and very evil, but petty. I feel like since he can't do anything to affect Buffy right now, he's fucking with Spike. Yeah, it's classic bully behavior. He's just gigantic douchebag. And so good at it. The way James Marsters acts in this, you can sense his like frustration, and he wants to be able to do something, but it seems when we see these scenes, it's almost like he's giving up, which makes the payoff pretty good by the end. Yeah, it's good stuff. So then we cut back to the school, and Giles is explaining to Willow that he thinks that it's Jenny Calendar who's the ghost that's doing all this, and they're like, it doesn't really seem like something Jenny Calendar would do, and then they say, what do we know? And then Xander just jumps in with, dog spit is cleaner than humans. But he also made a good point in the sense that he said that this feels very specific, like the ghost thing. Yeah. And they're all talking about how it feels like a specific event and not something Jenny Calendar would do. But because Giles is feeling so hurt, he's definitely trying to reach out to Jenny and hopes that even in this fucked up version of a ghost, it is Jenny Calendar that's talking to them. And it's rare that we see Giles so off base. So emotional. And the rest of the Scoobies basically let him handle his own shit. They're like, yeah, you conjure whatever the fuck you want to conjure in the library. We got the rest of this. Yeah. So the Scoobies do some digging and find out that in 1955 at the Sadie Hawkins dance, there was a murder-suicide, and thus they find their ghost. Cut to the cafeteria.
and the same crazy shit's going on, and they're all eating spaghetti, and everybody's all like, spaghetti.
Spaghetti and hot dogs.
Spaghetti and hot dogs, just like Grandma used to make. And all of a sudden, all the spaghetti turns into snakes. And everybody's like, what the fuck? And people are throwing over desks and like trampling each other.
Yeah, everyone's like, how did these motherfucking snakes get on my motherfucking plate?
Cordelia just gets up on the desk and is just doing her best Sam Jackson impersonation. It's awesome. That was kind of a weird scene. I didn't really love that.
It's the same with the
locker scene.
Yeah, in the locker. It's random. And why would this ghost do this if the whole theme is like, I don't know if scorned lover is the right term, but it's all about love and feeling like the other person is betraying you, and you're a ghost, so you'll just make snakes out of spaghetti?
That really doesn't make any sense. Also, the fact that this ghost, once again, has been around since the beginning of the series. So this would have happened last season, right? There would have been a murder-suicide last season.
Yeah.
There would have been snakes in the cafeteria. Xander would have there would have been an arm coming out of lockers. This would have happened a year before. You know, this wouldn't have been the first time this happens. So that bothers me. It's just like a random, now today there's snakes. And then once again, everybody just goes back to class. Like, that would be the end of I would transfer schools.
Well, they didn't go back to class, right? They stopped
class.
it.
And then the police are outside. So Snyder goes up to the police, and you get this little hint. And this is something that bugs me because it's never really, I guess, explored more. But he talks to the cop, and he explains that he knows that the school's on a hellmouth. And the cop responds, do you want to be the one that goes to the mayor to talk about this? And Snyder seems perturbed and scared.
Yeah, fearful.
Fearful of the mayor. So he definitely knows the mayor is fucked up too.
Yeah. But, again, we've talked about this before on other podcasts that we've done. It doesn't seem to me like he's in cahoots. It seems like he's fearful and just going along.
Yeah, maybe like a Nazi soldier as opposed to Himmler. But I don't know, man. We still don't know. We still don't know yet.
I do like the fact that Snyder acknowledges for the first time in the series that they're on a hellmouth. That felt gratifying in one way and frustrating in the other. It's like, oh, so you're not a complete moron. But then, why are you still just fucking picking on Buffy so much?
Why are you picking on Buffy so much? Which makes me think that he's in cahoots with the mayor. The mayor's telling him, like, hey, that girl's trouble. And that's something that's kind of there for me, but also like he's definitely picked a side in the battle, and he seems to be on the side of bad.
I like that. I also like the idea that maybe he's just a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
And he found that one student he's going to torment to make his shitty existence feel better.
I also like the idea of a city conspiracy, like the whole mayor to sheriff to all the way down to the school principal are in on this evil.
The bouncer at the Bronze.
Yeah,
he's
just
in it
everybody.
too.
Yeah, he's long gone, but while he was around, he was the treasurer of the conspiracy.
He stirred some shit up.
He was
bouncer.
fucked up. Yeah, he had some crazy council meetings. So they decided to do this triangle spell, Willow's first spell of the series. Would you say?
Is it?
I think this is the first.
Oh no, because she didn't save the day, but she did the spell to not allow.
Oh, the incantation.
Angel Lewis
the
into
reverse.
the
The reverse allowing you in my house spell.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. Okay, so her second spell. Cool. So they come up with a triangle chant where they all get in a different position of the school, and they do a chant, and the ghost will be dispelled. So the ghost is a super dickhead because he killed his lover. But I have a gripe with that. This ghost was a 17-year-old boy or 16-year-old boy that was seduced by a 40-year-old woman. Yeah. Like, who the fuck is a dick?
I think back when they did this,
it was cool to fuck your teachers with
no,
your boy?
I think there was less issues. Like, we've seen the news within the last, 15 years, and a lot of these cases are, like...
popping up?
Yeah. They're more prevalent in society.
It's so messed up that, like, if you're a woman, it's cool to fuck a kid, But if you're a man, I'm not saying like I want to be able to do it. I'm just saying it should be bad for everybody to do this.
Yeah, across the board.
Across the board, you shouldn't have sexual encounters
and
with
I don't
people
think they would
half your
have,
age.
They definitely wouldn't have this type of episode now, because I think the whole point of this was for Buffy to realize that rage is not healthy, right? And she should move on. Otherwise, she's going to end up like this poor guy. But at no point did they say how wrong it is for this teacher to be in love and have a fling with this student. It's kind of not even pushed under the rug. It's like, oh, okay, they had a star-crossed love affair. But no, it's not like that. It's wrong. She took advantage of this child. This child.
A child also that she's been paid to teach. So she has like a sense of authority over him.
When he acts inappropriately, when he acts the wrong way, they're like, oh my God, what the fuck? Granted, he killed her, but shit, you shouldn't have done any of this in the first place. Cause and effect.
At 17, you're not even you're not completely developed to control your emotions. So he kills her, but then he kills himself too. Like, she caused a murder-suicide. Any way you put it, it was all her fault, in my opinion. I mean, her irresponsible actions led to her own demise.
Yeah, not all her fault, but she should have known better.
Yeah, definitely. So they cut back to Drusilla and Angel and Spike just to give Spike more shit. Just to grope Drusilla more in front of him. Like, I swear to God, right? They didn't really get any further in the plot. They make it apparent that Angel's gonna go fuck with Buffy.
Was that where she has a premonition where they send him to the school, right? So in a little way, but it's basically just to fuck with Spike.
Yeah. Then Xander goes back to the school, and he goes to the cafeteria, and surprise, surprise, the snakes are still fucking there. What do the cops do? What did Snyder do? Who the fuck is handling these snakes? And are these snakes real?
Well, they don't have a snake handler. And I imagine some of the cops in Sunnydale being like, that's not my fucking job to wrangle up all these goddamn ghost snakes.
So they're all going through the school, and they have the chant ready, and their little candles, and their little boxes of poop that Willow gave them around their necks. And they're going to do this spell.
Boxes of poop. Maybe we should be a little more specific.
She made like a bag that protects you from the ghost, but it smells like poop.
Okay. It smells bad.
It has sulfur in it, so it smells like poop or... Yeah, right? So they all start doing the spells, and as they're doing them, shit starts going crazy, right? Giles is wandering around the fucking school looking for Jenny Calendar like a crazy person. It's probably drank like half a bottle of whiskey. He probably has, right? We haven't seen him drink this episode, but wouldn't you be drunk as fuck at this point?
Yeah, I think it's weird that if I'm going to argue that he was mourning the death of one of his friends and drinking a lot, it should be even more with Jenny Calendar.
Yeah, like just like putting tampons of vodka up his butt and shit like that.
Ew.
So Cordy's face gets messed up. Willow gets sucked into the floor. Yeah. And then Willow gets sucked into the floor, and Giles grabs her. I'm talking about when Cordelia looks in the mirror and her face turns into like Freddy Krueger. So Giles saves Willow, and then once she pulls her out, Willow's like, this isn't Jenny, Giles. Like, Jenny wouldn't be this mean. And so essentially he's like, yeah, you're right. And they're like, you can't beat this poltergeist. And they all run away from a swarm of flies that's created by the ghost.
Locusts or something.
And where do they end up? The library or Giles' house?
They all run outside, and I don't know, because they can't go into the school.
I feel like they went back into the school library.
Well, they can't, because it's surrounded.
I guess they went to Giles' house.
Sure.
So...
some other location that we can't recall, or at least I can't recall.
They start talking about it, and they're like, well, what is this ghost looking for? And they're like, forgiveness. And Buffy's like, fuck him, and I'll never forgive that stupid piece of shit.
Oh, they went
ghost.
to Buffy's house.
Okay, yeah. So they're at Buffy's house, and she's like, fuck that ghost. He killed his lover, and that's irredeemable, even if she is a rapist. They basically just established the fact that the ghost wants to be forgiven.
She would be the last person to be all like, oh, well, the teacher was a little bit older, so I'm sure she was taking advantage of this young student. Like, she's worse off.
Yeah. She's like, no, I'm into older guys. That's cool. So they end up going back to the school, and again, the beginning scene where he takes over 2 people happens again, but this time the roles are reversed. Buffy takes on the role of the guy, the student, and Angel takes the role of the teacher.
Which, again, so random. I can understand why Buffy's like she's under some sort of spell. Or right, or called to the school. What's Angel's excuse? Did he finally like, oh, I'm going to kill Buffy now?
Yeah, that was the whole thing. He's like, oh, she's being attacked by a ghost. This is a good time to kill her.
I really hate the inconsistency of when Angel feels like killing her and when he doesn't. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just like plot device.
Honestly, it feels like these 2 episodes kind of feel out of place because there's been so much plot development with innocence and surprise and all these episodes going in. And then all of a sudden there's 2 Monsters of the Week in a row written by different writers. So there's 3 different episodes written by 3 different writers, and they just don't coalesce. Like, they don't go together.
And you need to have Angel still in there to kind of remind you, hey,
like,
hey,
don't forget Angel's still evil.
Yeah.
Like, that shit happened, and it's not going back.
But it does.
But it does.
This episode.
So,
in a way.
While they're reenacting everything, essentially, Angel is being... It seems like Angelus is turning more into Angel when he's enacting how this teacher acts, right?
Yeah, I felt like
he's being more compassionate.
He has his humanity has returned to him, at least for this temporary time.
And they go through the whole thing. Angel gets shot by Buffy. He flips off the balcony, and she grabs a gun and goes back to the room where she is about to shoot herself, brings a gun to her head, and Angel stops her and says, don't do this, and essentially enacts the teacher forgiving the guy that shot her, her lover, her child lover.
Which she never could do for anybody else, because how this was played out, the teacher would always die. Angel can't die. So that's great, because she can finally give the forgiveness she never could with a human.
The end of the movie with Ghost, and he turns into a ball of light and goes to heaven, assumedly, and
I didn't even think about that.
or whatever, goes to wherever ghosts go, and then I guess hell, because he killed somebody, right? And then shot himself.
Depends what religion.
Double whammy, boom, burn in hell, bitch. Sorry, that's mean. So Buffy and Angel are embraced in a kiss as the spell dies, and as they part, Buffy looks at him and goes, Angel, and he just throws her, right?
He's like in
disgust. He's like, ugh, cooties, bro. I don't like touching girls.
And again, so weird. Instead of killing her or anything, it kind of comes to him. It's like, oh my god, it just shoves her.
Yeah. So, cut to Angel going back and taking an Ace Ventura style shower, where he's just scrubbing himself
as Finkel is Einhorn.
As Spike and Drusilla watch. Essentially, at the end of it, he gives Spike more shit and says let's go kill somebody. Let's maybe a toddler. And
yeah, that's Drusilla trying to make Angel feel better. And Drusilla invites Spike, and Angel's all, no, we can't do that. What did he say? Something about, I'm sure you'd be hell on wheels.
Yeah. So he makes a bad pun at the expense of Spike, and they leave only to find out that Spike is well and can walk again. Dun, dun, dun. End of the episode. What do you think about that episode?
It was okay.
It was okay.
It wasn't the greatest. It was a decent Monster of the Week. Certainly issues I had. Angel coming out from nowhere to try to kill Buffy randomly is it's going to bother me.
Once again, it's like watching filter after watching Creed.
I
You're like, Creed was so horrible, and then you watch Filter, and you're like, that was still bad, but not. That wasn't great, but not horrible. It was just right here. That Filter would still be bad.
Sure.
I'm just picking all the worst bands I can think of.
I did like the theme, though, how it related to Buffy and her acknowledging that that guy, James, chose her because of her rage. So she realized by the end of the episode that she had a problem and it's not making her life any better. And that was like the crux of the episode.
That was pretty good. I think that I really like that.
And there's certain lines I did like in that when they say a person doesn't wake up and stop loving someone else.
Yeah.
James says that when he's possessing certain people. James is the ghost. Mm-hmm. I thought that was awesome, and that meant a lot. And it was cool to see that in this place within the season. But they could have done it better. They could have done it worse. They could have done it better.
Mm-hmm.
But okay episode.
I thought it was
way
okay.
better than Killed by Death.
Yeah. As far as one-offs go, I enjoyed it. Once again, it's not one of the worst episodes and not one of my favorites, but it's good. Right in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Deaths?
One death. It was the teacher that the janitor killed.
That unfortunate teacher who I said probably had some kids at home and a husband, and you said more like cats and a Netflix.
Yeah. Blockbuster at that point.
We have different views on what her life was like.
So, one death, one human death. And was this the first time we see a human on human death?
I think so. I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's going to be a hard one to kind of figure out.
I also feel fucking bad for that janitor because...
Yeah, he's going to jail forever.
Yeah, what's happening to him? Poor dude. I felt for him. I don't know why I felt so much. I think it's because she was so condescending.
Bad for him, though, but he had the best acting career of anybody on the show. He's been on all the best shows compared to anybody else on the show. Can you see anybody else did better? Angel and Bones?
I'm going to look for that person. There's got to be, not the main people, because of course not, but there has to be some other actor that's done better than this dude.
In Beer Bad, what's his name? Harold and Kumar.
Oh, that's right.
He made it pretty well. He was on House.
Okay.
He was on Obama's Secretary of State or some shit.
Let's look out for this.
3 Harold and Kumar movies, man. Sure, he doesn't regret that at all.
Okay, we'll keep an eye out.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye out. So, what's the next episode?
Go fish.
No. What's the next episode?
Go fish.
It's called Go Fish?
It's called Go
Fish.
Fish.
That's a stupid fucking name for an episode.
Yeah. It's not as cool of a metal band as Killed by Death, but I think it's going to be a better... Yeah. Snake Plissken. I think it's a good episode.
Okay. Does that have anything to do with her fish in the envelope?
No.
No.
Do you remember? You remember this one, right?
Maybe. Not by the name.
So it's the one where Xander joins the swim team.
Oh, of course, yes, yeah,
and
of course I remember this one.
Of course, it's Xander in a Speedo,
super hot chest and abs. Yeah,
and there's that one scene where he's walking in the pool and all the girls are like, "Wow,
you can see the outline of his dick."
I wasn't looking that hard.
I was looking that hard.
Yeah, so he's on the swim team.
Put my thing down, flip it, and reverse it.
He's on the swim team. The coach is giving them all steroids, but they're fish steroids, turn into fish.
In the sauna or some shit. Yeah, so, I remember that.
I thought it was a good episode, but
the ending's a little cheesy.
The cool thing, this is the last monster of the week
before
of the season.
Becoming.
Yeah.
Ooh, guys, we're almost there.
Yeah,
we're almost there.
Hey, you want to get under the covers just to stay warm?
Of course. I don't know. Do you think we can hear the baby in the background?
Yeah, that's fine, dude.
Okay. That's my baby in the background. I made a baby with my dick.
Oh my god, dude.
It was cool.
So, yeah, I have...